So, I'm loving to open today's podcast, which is loosely titled Embracing Human Design and Identity Transformation, with my very special, amazing guest, Guna Meldere. Now, Guna is a creative director and business mentor. And as you'll see in a little while, in her human design, she's a manifestor 6-3 with a passion for visibility, expression, and transformation. Over the last 7 years, she has helped businesses create magnetic and meaningful brands by weaving together art, creative expression, psychology, and strategy. Guna, to embrace your authentic self and shine brighter, I welcome you now to come on board and share your magic with us all.
Oh,
And I'd
thank
love,
you so much.
yeah, so to sort of kick it off with maybe we'll touch on, the human design aspect and share what it is for those that could be quite new um,
Okay.
to that.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And oh, human design. Actually, first time I was introduced with human design when I was around 16, 17, and I was like, oh, another personality test. No, just like get it out of me because I have a love and hate relationship with like personality tests because it feel I'm very passionate about human behavior, human psychology, different aspects of the brain, how the brain works, how the mind, where it goes. And with all of the tests, when I take them, first of all, it depends on the mood, right? It depends on like how you feel first of all. And then you also can, well, shift those answers and already know, like, depending what outcome you may want to present in the end. So it's like, it's always has been with me like, well, yeah, but sometimes I'm this and sometimes I'm that. And then well, how can I then know for sure that that's my personality type, right? So I always have been a little bit like, yeah, but I'm a little bit of all. Where when I get to know that human design actually is based on the date and time and location of your birth, very similar how astrology, I was like, huh, okay, now you get my attention because that can't really change, right? So, and that was something that years later, so the first time it was around 17 years. So I would say like more than 10 years later, I got introduced with human design again. And I was like, huh, interesting. And as I started to dive deeper and see myself from all of the descriptions and all of the things, I was like, huh, that actually makes so much sense. Oh, nothing is wrong with me. It's just like who I am. And it was such a, all of those light bulb moments. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not weird. It's just perfect. Like, no, I am weird, but like in a
Yeah.
way that's who I am, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, this is so great. So I felt so liberated. I felt so seen
Mm,
and that has been something that I did struggle for a while because, first of all, I have always been in business, very entrepreneurial minded, although I'm coming from very poor background. No of my family members have ever been business owners, entrepreneurial, anything like that. My mom actually was the first one who finished high school. Before that, there was only primary school in our family. So, and I was the first one in my lineage to go for university.
wow.
And and I always knew that no,
Yeah.
I want to live a completely different life. I want to live extraordinary life. And to do so, I need to do something that my family has never done. So I knew that business is my thing. Um, and it has been a roller coaster. And while I was building in the very beginning, I did build my corporate career. So having that and with the corporate work and banking and finances, it was exciting and amazing, but I did lose some of my identity.
Mm.
Then shifting into, the role of the wife and the mom, in my mid-20s, I was again facing different parts of who am I? Am I in the right place? Am I doing, and all of those questions, right? Like, am I on the right path? What's my, purpose? Where am I going? So I held those multiple businesses. So where is it going, right? And
Mm.
again, I was feeling that I was just a little confused because I was starting things and it was very hard to finish them. I was starting projects, I was starting businesses, but then after I didn't want to run them, right? And as soon as I get to know human design and found out that I'm a manifester and I'm a 6-3 profile and I'm emotional type, everything just like fell into place, right? I was like, oh, okay, manifestors are here to be visionaries. Yes, business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. And it's so important to have other people around us because we have that idea, we initiate, but we don't have that consistent access to that life force energy to actually continue and to do. We need other people, we need a team, we need amazing you know, people who can support us. And that's why I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Why always when I was leading teams, I actually felt the best, right? Comparing when I was alone. And then when my husband joined to my business, it was so much easier and better because I was like, oh, actually, this works perfectly. And he's a generator. So generators are a life force energy, like here to create and do and buzz around with all of the creative things and the joy and happiness and just enjoy the life's pleasures, right? So
Okay.
for those who are new to human design, right? So human design is not here to box you, right? It's not here to limit you. If you ever feel that you're reading something and you're like, but this means that I can't do this or that, then we get a shift and look from it from different perspective. It's just a guidance to show you where you will be the most magnetic, where you will be the most having the most gifts and talents, and where you also will have challenges. And it doesn't mean that you can't do something. It just means that maybe you need to be aware that you have a resistance here. Maybe you need to know that you may need to check in with your energy levels. Maybe you need to have a team. Maybe you need to have this and that. So kind of different aspects to just like support you better. So you are not kind of, running into the wall all the time, but actually it's more like in a flow. So, and there's 5 main types of the human design. So we have manifestors, that is my type. We have reflectors, that is the rarest one, which who are just really mirrors of the community. They are kind of checking in with community, how the community feel and reflecting it back. So it might be a lot of times uncomfortable for people because they are seeing themselves in a mirror. And that's the rarest type. And fun fact, actually, only recently after my all certifications and all of the studies, only recently, like it was, I think, 1.5 years ago, I get to find out that my mom turns out to be a reflector.
Oh,
And it's so fascinating because not only because it's a very rare type, but also that it has like, because always everybody who's studying human design and our manifestors are usually very conditioned by the generator and manifesting generator type to just do more, and then they get burnout and all the things.
I know that
And
one.
I had such that one, right? And I had such a free freedom-based childhood. I could do whatever I want, right? My mom was like always encouraging me in my creativity or all of my weird ideas and things. So I didn't understood that part. Like, yes, my grandmother was generator, so I get that. Like there was a lot of that part, but especially from the parent, from my mom, I didn't ever experience that. So I couldn't like resonate as much as a manifestor in that area. And then when I found out that, oh, she's a reflector. Then all it made sense because she
Mm.
was reflecting back on actually my needs, what I needed, how I need to be supported. So, and not knowing anything about human design, right? And also in a childhood, we did live a lot by the moon phases, right? So you cut the hair in the new moon, you plant the seeds in the new moon, you harvest in a full moon, like in all of kind of those different things. Because we are growing our own vegetables and fruits and all of the things. So it was very important. And it just kind of like human design, I feel, when you are going deeper into it, not only helps you to make better decisions, you have more awareness about things, but it also kind of just gives permission to the things that actually deep down you already knew about yourself, but you just were feeling like, is it
Yeah,
right? Is it like maybe, yeah, something is wrong with me, maybe this and that. And actually then you're like, no, this is me. This is exactly who I am supposed to be. And other part, like which was important for me, the manifestor type, yes. The other one was the 6-3 profile because up to 30 years, it's more like acting like 3-3 profile. And three is all about, third line is all about experimenting, more about journey rather the destination, more about trialing and erroring and testing things. And I remember um, even in a bank, people are like, my colleagues always saying like, oh yeah, well, you don't need to ask even Guna, she will just tell that you need to test it out. And that's how it is because even with my clients, right? I know multiple scenarios. I have been working with so many businesses over the years, helping, supporting. But that's the thing, like each business still got to experiment and test out because what works for one will not necessarily work for somebody else. So yeah, it has been my entire life story, like trial and error, experiment, test it out.
yeah.
And it kind of gave me permission because I thought, oh, I'm just starting those things, not finishing, then this and that, and testing out and sampling things. Something, am I afraid of commitment? Am I afraid of this? Or what is happening? Like kind of going into the depths. But then I did realize that, oh no,
Oh, come on, internet. We have just got a little bit. Yeah, we're back again. Okay. It'll take a moment to catch.
interesting journey.
Sorry,
Oh,
we just dipped the internet there for a second.
oh,
The joy
okay.
of living
So
in rural France.
that's cool. So yeah, but that has been like kind of my journey into human design, like a little introduction to just like how it all went. And usually as well, when I do some transformation for myself or for my clients, it's like usually I want to go deep. And so therefore as well, I needed to study it, needed to like really understand if it's, the right thing to choose to add in my toolbox. And yeah, it has been very wonderful because especially working with identity work and the branding and helping clients to be more visible, that's a big part for them to really understand who they are, what's that essence, to just bring it out and help them because identity work is great. But again, sometimes you need a little bit more even that
Mm.
depth or other tools to support all of that.
Yeah, and that's what I really love about, the combination of really knowing where where you are in alignment with your soul purpose as well. What I've seen through, my basic knowledge and exploration of human design in particular. Find myself, I'm a manifesting generator 3/5. And it's kind of been like for me a foundation of knowing, my human design is this. These are the areas I'm strong and really flow in alignment. These are the areas where I can easily go out of alignment and how to recognize those. And then combining that with, for example, wealth dynamics. which I,
Mm.
I feel the two together can combine and give you a kind of real roadmap. Is that the right word? The roadmap to creative genius in a way of
Yeah.
living in this world which is changing so rapidly. And so many people are now, oh, I'm very aware of like language and stuff, but so many people are really curious as to why they're here. What impact can they make? How can they help people? How can they create, like you said, an extraordinary life and being extra? I love being extra. But
Yeah.
it's taken me
And
most of
that's
my life to get to that point of where we are right now.
mhm.
So, what do you
Yeah, and that's
feel?
actually such a powerful thing. That's
Mm,
such a powerful thing to acknowledge that because I feel that this is also like one of the things that I love to teach. Like when we go and dive deeper into the parts that you have ever called out to be too much, extra, like overboard, and then also the things that, made us feel not enough or like that we are, lacking something. Usually, those are the keys, all of them, like all of the too muchness, not enoughness is the keys to our purpose and to success. It's in some way so linked to that
mm,
because, and then when we are, and it's so funny, right? Because people like want to be so unique, right? They want to be different and in the same time want to blend in and belong, right? And then we have
yes.
this fight, inner fight, like but what's happening, right? And then but yeah, I definitely agree. Like I feel like tools like, and it can be human design, it can be in astrology. There's also like star matrix and life path and what like there's so many beautiful tools that, or like even archetypes, right? Or the personality types. Like it's not that if I don't really love them, it's not that I'm dismissing them. They have a place, they have beautiful effect as well. And I think anything that can be used to go deeper and understanding yourself better is amazing thing to do because it is literally a shortcut. Something that you sometimes, try and go through all of life and
Yeah.
then you, oh okay, I have those lessons, where when you learn that so much more earlier, you already can be aware of, okay, what do I need to learn, what my soul needs to learn, what is happening here in this situation, so you don't step on that, the same mistakes almost all the time, because how many times it has been that something repeats and repeats and repeats and you're like, hey universe, like I don't get it, right?
Yeah.
And if you have something like human design, astrology, something else that can really help you to see, like, hey, 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 see, this is the thing. This is what's happening, right? Like, this is your shadow. Like, let's transform it. And because everything in human design, this is one, I will just go a little back, like, aspect, because sometimes people are asking me, like, but like, people are like the twins, right? They are
Yeah.
born in pretty much the same time, same location, same date, everything. And actually, it's not necessarily true because there's, still like some minutes, like 5, 10, 15, whatever it is in between. So that actually does change a lot of things. But okay, they are born kind of the same time, same family, same environment, right? But what changes is that for each aspect, there is positive kind of and negative expression, right? And it's up to that person. What do they choose? They
Yeah.
can choose this outcome or that outcome. It's the same how we are choosing different realities, right? So we are impacting that, and that's why we are so unique, because in human design there are so many different elements. There's more than 1,000 and things that we can look into. So imagine that each of that aspect can be in different expressions, right? So, of course, we are so individual, so different, so unique. And then when we know that, it's like really like a little cheat code sheet, something like, like a shortcut to actually navigate the life with much more fullness and alignment and just understanding ourselves quicker.
Yeah.
Because and I can see that so much, like now after years working with so many people in human design, what a difference when somebody who does it at age of, let's say, 25, or somebody who comes and they are in their 70s and they say
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, this is like, oh, I know this one. Yeah, I did that like 10 times and only now I learned.
Yeah.
And then this time. And then it's so you can see how it's like the 25 one is like, oh, it's interesting. I don't know, right? And they kind of don't know it yet because they haven't experienced that much. But then when, the 70-year-old is saying like, oh my gosh, yes, this is like 100%, it's just me and all my life journey. It's just like this, again, like approval almost as well for the system and how precise it actually is. And so, yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. I mean that really resonates because like I'm like saying to my beloved Anthony, we're 3 years away of our sixth decade in this current body, and it's like you can almost feel a little bit of frustration as if to say, God, if only I had known X, Y, and Z
Hmm.
25 years ago, how much more force of change we could have been then, instead of struggling and, like you said earlier, making mistakes and not really knowing your life path so deeply. And yet, to balance that, we are older and have we carry the wisdom now. As we get older, we've got more lived experience that we kind of then can really align with. And if you shine the light backwards over the decades that you were doing all those dumbass things and making the mistakes and repeating patterns and all that, and you go, oh my God, I wish. And now, you might not have as much fitness, you might have not as much energy, you might feel that, oh my God, how am I going to achieve all that I desire to achieve to help humanity? And thrive whilst you're doing that. If only, if only. But you can't look back. You can only go, wow, what a ride that's been,
Yeah.
until the point where you go, holy heck, everything now that you know your human design and your wealth dynamics is all about how you can really shine in your genius. And then you can line it all up and you go, oh my God, now, right, we can start. We can really start impacting the future of our planetary consciousness and uplifting those that are also ready. They're coming into alignment with their own wisdom and knowledge and wanting to create much more of a harmonious lived experience for not only themselves, their communities, family, but those that have yet to step on that path. We're kind of making it a smoother journey for those that are coming after us, which is, around legacy. And what I'd love to sort of ask you is, how do you, and especially with your brand identity work, and all that authority that you bring forward into your work with your clients and what have you, how are you around legacy? What are your thoughts about, how can we create legacy that is going to make life so much more amazing and magical and cosmic for those that are, maybe watching now or in the future going, oh my God, I'm struggling like hell. I really feel there's more that we as soul in a human experience can do that really will change everything.
Yeah. I think like it's so many powerful things that you said. And in terms of legacy, what I think, and first of all, like going a little bit back to like when we look back and seeing, like, I think the biggest gift that we can do is actually like really appreciate the journey. Because even when we know exact roadmap, when we know all of the things that, even then, it's all about living it through and embodying, and not always And that's sometimes even harder when you know exactly what you should be doing and need to be doing, and it's actually can even be a little harder, right? So, but talking about the legacy, and I think in general, right now, and as we step into this, new age and the age of Aquarius and all of the things, I do feel there will be a lot of that for everybody to showing up and expressing themselves who they truly are, and in a way that we each bring those gifts. And I think right now that what we have had so far as, leaders and authoritative persons, and even celebrities and people with a lot of following and things like that, I do think right now I see that shift so much more, that people are, yes, still, looking up and being inspired. But I do think that right now it's more about each and every one of us to going deeper to who we truly are and to our essence, and then finding those gifts and then expressing that so everybody around us can really see that magic, and that will impact that ripple effect, because it's not just only, and this is something that I am very, very passionate about, that how we show up, not just only online, right? Like, yes, we come, we serve, we give advice, and we present things that can be possible, right? I'm always about inspiring, like, hey, I literally come from nothing, right? I was growing up in a house, which was beautiful, small little tiny house, pretty much falling apart. We only thing how we could get heat was through burning the wood, right? The
Yeah.
toilet was outside. We didn't have bathroom. We didn't have water inside of the house. So kind of all of those things, but you have the journey, and now I live in this beautiful country in Portugal between the palm trees, next to the ocean, right? In a beautiful house with like more bathrooms that you can you
Wow.
definitely need. So, and I feel, and it's not about me sharing that in a way like, hey, look what I did, right? But more like, hey, you can also have it. You got to believe it. And the first thing, like, don't wait to anybody else, because like that was the hard lesson that I needed to learn. Nobody is coming to save you, right? And it feels like harsh and everything, but it's so needed to hear. And you gotta, like, if somebody's struggling, you got to take that radical ownership. You got to be like, okay, nobody is going to save me, but I can.
Mm.
And then surrounding yourself with amazing people that are around you, not just, like the big names, but just in general, even the people who are on the street, right? Because there's so much magic in each of the person that can actually give you so many things. We are all here for a reason. And I truly believe that we have those soul contracts with every single person that we meet. And sometimes it feels like, oh, it's just, like I just need to rush and do things, or like just to go through the supermarket and wherever. But actually, there might be somebody who just looks into your eyes, and that's enough for something to change, or just smiles, and that's again something to shift inside of you. So I do feel my kind of way of keeping the legacy and inspiring it more is to share this message of that every single action, whatever you do, and not just related with, like, let's say online world or business and things, but everything, like how you wake up in the morning and what's your first thought, how you cuddle your dog, how you go outside in the world, and do you smile to people, or do you are in your own world? And there's no right or wrong, but it's like what kind of magic are you bringing? Like, what is that? Like what you talked before, right, about the purpose, like how, why are we here? It's
Yeah.
not just because, maybe we have like super successful podcast or a YouTube channel or a great course that is impacting multiple people, but it's also about like what kind of frequency and energy we are bringing into the world, like how we make other people to feel. And I think that is really needed right now, because somehow we are, into those little bubbles, and I look around in cafes or shops, and people are in their phones, And it's great. They are inspiring maybe or learning something or like creating something, helping somebody. We can't assume that they are just doom scrolling.
Yeah.
But
I like that doom scrolling. Yeah.
right, but and I feel still it would be nice to, get your eyes up and just say something nice to somebody or to just kind of coming back to that human as well connection. Um, and this is my goal for the next year as well to like do so much more in-person things because I do feel that it's so needed. And yes, we are evolving so quickly. The internet has taken as a storm and we are all thinking and it's beautiful because we get to talk to people who we haven't actually met in real life, right? Like as we are here, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful. But in the same time, I do feel that we got to bring that human aspect a little bit more back, and finding like going inside, because I feel like yes, with all of that buzzing and all of that stress and all of the things happening and this to-do list and that and this notification and here and I need to go there and this so much of the noise, right? So yeah, exactly. I feel like as we just need to listen more to our bodies and connect with our bodies. And I feel that's something that I learned hard way about 2 years ago. That you got to connect all of the parts, your mind, your soul, and your body. You can't just, be focusing on one thing.
Yeah.
And I really wish everybody to just connect more with their body and truly listening to that inner voice, through that intuition. And I think that is the way how to get to that purpose and more fulfilled life much quicker as well, even without the tools. Because again, like human design, right? It's just listening to your body. Because in your chart, right, for those who already know their human design, or maybe will be like, okay, I need to go and check it out. When you will create your chart, there will be a lot of numbers, a lot of lines, geometrical figures. So you are having those 9 beautiful centers where your magnetic energies are hidden, where you are attracted to somebody or somebody will be attracted to you. It's like this polarity pull, right? And it's beautiful. And in the same time, we can see that there is this top part, like top two centers. It's your mental, your head, and your ajna, and then the rest is your body under the throat.
Yeah.
So important to listen everything what's under, because the mind is always messing things up.
Oh, yeah.
Mind is a freaky thing, right? Because it only knows what it knows. It knows
Yeah.
the experience, it knows the past. It does know nothing about the future. It can only like simulate and kind of assume things, but it does not know.
Mm.
So why do we listen to our mind so much,
Mm.
where our body actually holds the memory in a completely different way and connects with the soul? So yeah, I think we talk about the legacy. I think that would be I can bring more and more of awareness, like connecting with the body, connecting with that inner essence, and whatever tool you are using, if you use human design, amazing, right? But just connecting with yourself and truly getting to know you. I think that's something that then everybody will be benefiting of. And the ripple effect is just beautiful when we, heal and
Yeah.
transform, impact another person, and
Yes.
that person impacts another person. And it's just so amazing. So, yeah, I think
Totally resonate
that's it.
with that. The mind is a trickster. We can get so um restricted and externalizing everything and thinking that we've got to go outside of ourselves to find ourselves, if that makes
Mm,
sense. And instead of maybe we've even lost connection with that depth of soul consciousness and our intuitive wisdom that is kind of ageless because we never die, we never, there's no beginning, no end, is there? There's the circle. it goes on and on and on. And yet we're having this human experience where we're having to remember everything. I just did a live before while I was making dinner. I love doing live video when I'm cooking. It just is inspiring because I'm not having to think about what I'm saying because I've got my focus on preparing the meal with love. And it is that coming into awareness of the fact that we know it all already, yet our mind has shut us
Mm.
down from that depth of knowing. So awakening that in ourselves and then helping others, however that might look, whether we're, quantum activators or, helping them plug into their human design and going deeper that way. There's so much awareness now that we can connect with other people. And I really feel that too. I feel that we've lost that physical coming into presence with each other. And that's kind of where my path is taking me now is how can we connect into the collective consciousness, the soul consciousness to transform the world, So that's really, really amazing to hear your feelings on that. Thank you.
Mm.
So,
Beautiful.
so what would you, how would you help somebody, once they know maybe they're going to come and work with you, so I'm going to drop all your links and everything in the bio below this video. And so if they connect with you and you can help them begin this expansion, then how, depending on where they want to going, where they might want to go with it, how does that then bring in the transformational process with their way of expressing in their world to help?
Mm.
How would that?
Yeah, this is such a great question. And that's like again like leads me, oh, the life is unpredictable, right? Because
Yes.
most of the times, I would say like most of the time is my clients are coming in there like, wow, I want to figure this thing out. I have a or I work mostly with business owners, right? But I do work as well with individuals that just want to improve their life, right? Like there is many different ways, but mostly it's business owners. And usually they're like, oh, I just want to make more money. How can I grow a bigger account? I just want to be more visible and I want to, just have all of this audience and they are so engaged and all that. I'm like, it's beautiful, right? And also, as we start this transformational journey, first step is, okay, let's look into human design. Sometimes we as well look in astrology to just like kind of put into the little bit diagnostics almost, I would say, right? Like where you are at, because it's so important to know like are the person is being in that negative expression or the healthy kind of positive expression. And it's not like negative, it's more like not healthy, I would say. Well, it's kind of little negative, but like kind of not in the health, like it's more like in the shadows, right? Rather than in the full potential of their design. Because that's the thing, it's not that we can just start living our design now. We
Mm,
are living it every single day. We are not aware of that. We it's just everything that we do, we are already living our design. It just depends if we are living in the shadows or we are going into the higher potential, right? So, and that's the difference where we are bringing the transformation. And when I first have the conversation, with somebody, we look into the chart and then I ask some questions and I see where they want to go. Let's say, yes, they want to make more money, to go to the next level or speak on the stages. And okay, great. But then when we look at the chart, a lot of times what we discover is completely something else,
yeah.
right? And then we actually go and look into that identity work, right? And different things. Okay, what's important in your life? We look into the purpose, we look into the things, and a lot of times there is something else going on, right? Yes, they might want to go into the next level business, but there's actually other parts that some old story they are telling themselves, or maybe there is actually sometimes some traumatic experiences that they have had that we need to heal first. And
Yes.
then there's the next step that what I do, I work with the limiting beliefs a lot with like that identity shift. And then depending on the client, I do use a lot of healing modalities as well to just like, okay, let's see how we can either we use mind reprogramming, or maybe we are using some breath work, maybe we are using meditation, maybe like healing frequencies. So we figured that out. So we go into that aspect, we fix it, and then we talk again. Because a lot of times now it's completely different approach, because the part has been, kind of restored. They, in some areas in human design, they have actually stepped into that full potential. And then we can say like, okay, so what kind of maybe practices and things they need to introduce into their daily life? Because for some people, you can clearly see like, different things as like, what's the best environment for them?
Mm.
Maybe they need to connect with the nature every single day. It may not, like, it's obviously important for everybody, right? To connect with the nature, to move their body, to eat healthy, la la la, all of the things. But in human design, there are some parts where we can see for whom it's even more important. Like there are some types and activations that you cannot not move every single day. It's like non-negotiable. There needs to be a movement, otherwise you will be blocked, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe somebody needs to just sing at least one song a day to
Yeah.
just kind of activate their voice, right? So there are so like the practical approach, because I think knowing things is one thing, but then actually transforming, it's living it, right? So we need to have practices. So I'm in a very practical, and I think, you are 3-5 profile, right? I have a lot of fifth line in general in my human design. So, but you have in your profile 5. So it's all about practical application, giving people practical things to do,
Yes.
and then being the leader, right? The fifth is like such a beautiful leader energy. And so that's the next step. We see like, okay, what are the practical things they need to do? Maybe they do need to meditate every single day. For some, even twice a day is needed, right? And I am that person. I need that, and it doesn't mean you need to go into like, guided meditation all the time and this and that, but like just being aware and mindful, right? So, and connecting with the body, or connecting with the nature, connecting or having water somewhere close by all the time, it will help, right? So there are multiple aspects into that. So, and as we kind of, okay, here is your plan. Here is your, like, we did some fixing work, right? And then we have that conversation again. So where do you want to go, right? What's important right now? And a lot of time it has changed. It's like, okay, I want to serve more people. I want to impact the life. I want to express my this gift. Like, for example, if somebody has like there's particular gates in human design that is all about like love and giving this unconditional love to humanity and giving back and all. So they're like, I want to express this more. I have been so suppressing this part of myself and not expressing, because I thought, people has been calling me naive and too trusty and this and that, and I just couldn't do that. But now I see that's my gift, and I want to double down on it. Beautiful. So they go and do it. And if they are business owners, right? Sometimes, yes, we build a website, we put the systems in place that they can actually do that. But the bottom line is that most of the time, the things that they come to me turns out to be something else that needs
Mm.
to be. And especially when we talk about visibility, right? There are so many.
Just working with our lovely internet, if this is on the recording, this is some of the things that can kind of impact us being able to communicate fully and clearly is when our internet drops. So if this has actually
Is
been,
something that, oh,
yeah, sorry about that. I was just chunnering away because our internet dropped again. My apology.
That's okay. I was just like talking. It's okay. But what I was saying, yes, it's more about like Sometimes, somebody is already visible and they're showing up, they're having the courage and they're going lives and things. But then when we work deeper into the things like through human design and identity and healing, what happens is they discover that the energy behind how they showed up is not actually the one that is most aligned with them. And they were
Yeah.
burning out, they're feeling, this and that. So, and I have noticed previously, I remember when I didn't know about human design in such a depth, right? I didn't know. I was ignoring human design. It was 9 years ago, when the first time the live video started to appear, right? And I
Mm.
started to go live, and I was going every single day live. And some days I would be just feeling like I go in and I just feel like so charged, so great, and everything. And some days I do kind of the same thing, right? But then I just feel like, oh my gosh, I can't. I feel so tired. It feels like I have poured all of the energy out there and I didn't understand. Now, obviously, I do. I can go live and show up like not every day.
Yeah.
It's not my time. It's like generators and manifesting generators, beautiful. You guys can do consistent actions. It's great for you. And again, about consistency, yes, there's other aspects in human design, like there's those arrows, right? So we have uh, different ways how we function as well in that way, in the consistency and all of that. But the first always comes the type, the strategy, and the energy, right? Like the authority. So those are the foundations. So for somebody who is new, it's like human design, it's like a school. You
Yeah.
have like grades and you need to graduate. If you haven't graduated the first level, right? Or you can think about it as a game as well. I don't know, Mario, whatever, some sort of game, right? So you have a level one. If you don't pass the level one, I'm sorry, you can't get to the level two, right? And sometimes what happens? Clients come to me, or just even in my free events and things like that, who are like, oh, I know the behind generator and I'm this and this and I know. So they want more depth. They want more like, this gate or this arrow or this tone or color and stuff like that. And it's great. I can give you that information. Nothing wrong with that. And if they haven't graduated that first class or that level one of the game, it doesn't matter because you it's not unlocked. You can know about it, but you can't really use it.
Yeah.
As it's like it's so important to fully embody that type, which is
That's the
like
word. Yeah.
either you are like a generator and manifesting generator. Okay, have you mastered responding? Do you find the opportunities everywhere? Do you know how to find them? Are you in that highest expression or the lowest one? Because if you are just sitting down and feeling like, oh, there's nothing to respond to, I don't want to wait, and I just want to initiate, right? Because like, how long I can wait? It's not about that because the opportunities are everywhere. You literally, it's that sense that you got to activate that, hey, there's everywhere. Like there's, if you go online, there's comments, there's posts, there's things, and then you need to feel in your body, are you responding to this or not? If you are, then go for it, right? And then the conversations will start and the ideas will flow. If no, if the body says no, it's not the great where to respond, fine, it's both valid, right? So, or if you are a manifester, right, like go initiate. If you just wait for permission, well, I'm sorry, you are in the lowest expression. And then, yes, even though you have those beautiful gifts, like maybe, to be such a leader or like impact with the voice, or you have so many joyful qualities that you could, do great things. But if you haven't gone through that level one, well, it's there, but you can't touch it, right? It's like it's a very interesting part. And then as you unlock all of those levels and go deeper and deeper and deeper, then the magic happens. And sometimes um and it's not that you can't reach them, right, at all, but it's just not in the level, how like
Mhm.
in that full potential, right? And that's the difference because when I see somebody to truly embody their type, then their authority and strategy, right? The centers, the profile, which is like the first things, it's completely different. It's like that expression of the all of the rest of the things is just so much more powerful. It's just like so much more effective. And it's just like, and then they themselves as well, like sometimes they fight me and they're like, no, but I already do this and I already am this and it's I know, I know better, right? And then they come like a year or 2 years later and then, oh my gosh, I didn't know. Now I feel what you were talking about, right? And that's the
Yeah.
truth. We don't know what we don't know, and that's okay. We
Yeah.
all are on different journeys, and again, that's okay. And we need to be, I feel, more compassionate and loving to each other to like allow people to be in the journey. I feel sometimes as well, we have lost that sense of actual journey. It's like we just want to be in destination. And
Yeah.
also like the people who guide us, even like, as a mentor or as a coach, it's like, oh, just quicker results, which is great. And I feel sometimes we got to give that journey time. We got to allow it to unfold because it's so rewarding rather than just being like this, and okay, I didn't even understood what happened, right?
Mm.
So I think it's very important to have that
Yeah.
journey and the way how it unfolds.
And enjoy it as well, because when you get to
Yeah.
your destination, we have no idea how that's going to actually look. And you might have
Mhm.
just missed. It's like I drive quite slowly. Okay. I'm one of those drivers. If I was like 90 million years old, I'd be like this big and only just being able to steer with the steering wheel and just going like 1 mile an hour or something like that. But we drive a big vehicle, narrow roads, don't know what's around the corner. So I just go, let's just enjoy the journey. Oh, look at how beautiful it is. And I forage whilst I'm driving. Not advisable. However, you know, and we take forever to get wherever, but we've learned so much and we've integrated so much and we've shifted into a different version of ourselves along that journey as well. So, and who knows when we're actually going to reach that destination. We kind of go into the next lived experience, I feel, when we get to that destination. So, what's the point in wanting to get there and miss out on all that?
Exactly, and not even like experiencing all of this spectrum of the things and the
Mm.
emotions and all of that. So I'm on with that. It's funny how you said that, when you drive, I love to drive quite fast, but when we go with my husband with the motorcycle, I'm on a back. I'm on the backpack, right? So
Yeah.
usually it's like he's like going like quite fast, but I'm like, wait, wait, wait. I want to see like I want like because it's even like even if I'm not actually taking the photos and stuff, but like I just want to see things because most likely we will not go this road again, or maybe we will, but and it's just like that moment, like for me, it is very important. And I know I also have the channel 2210, which is like all about, the spiritual kind of path, but also like being in the moment, being here and now, being present. And I'm like, I like that. It's like even like I needed to train my family of, when we give hugs, I'm like, that's it. It's like whatever 10, 20, 30 seconds of just uninterrupted hug, and that's it. Don't tell me that, oh, I need to go do this or do that, or it's just 20 seconds, right? Just be in that moment. And I think that actually has changed so many things as well for my family, like to just kind of be in the moment and just be because I noticed myself at some point, especially when we moved to Portugal, and it's so pretty. And we go for a sunset and we go to the ocean. It's so beautiful. And then you are like, oh, so nice. But at first, I actually was just like, take a picture, take another one. Okay, let's go, right? And then you look back maybe to those photos. Oh, yeah, it was a great place. Where now I really want to spend so much more time there, like just to be. Okay, yes, I can take a beautiful photo, but I want to just take it all in and just be in that moment. And I think that's so precious and it has changed so much for
Mm.
me in terms of how I feel, how I think, how I lead myself, how I help my clients, just being in that moment. I think it's very
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Do you feel that, when they slow down and they take in that more expansive form of mindfulness, do you see massive transformations when they realize the importance of doing that?
Yes, and it's so interesting because I also see, sometimes my clients work as well, obviously, with other people, right? And with other aspects of their lives. And sometimes it can be very split feelings in terms of when we want to reach goal really, really quickly, right? And then we have a support that helps us to do that. And it's all great. And what I see, if we work kind of in this timeline that one part of their life has achieved so quickly and they even like don't know what's happened, and then we work a little bit more like in that embodied way. And it doesn't mean that it needs to take forever. It's just that more of the awareness and mindfulness around it. And what I have noticed is that sometimes, yes, they have achieved maybe financial goal or maybe built a company really, really quickly, but then when they found themselves in that mindfulness, what happens is it's not what they wanted. It's not because the action was taken too quick. It's, the same thing how, when you are the seamstress, right? You measure 7 times and cut once rather than just
Yeah.
cut like something like I'm always a used to be. Still sometimes I'm just cutting. Like I make my own clothes a lot and my everybody in my family has always laughed at me because it's like I don't measure anything. I'm just like looking at the fabric and I'm just like chick 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 and sew it and it's not perfect. It's not maybe, but it's there, right? It's like I sometimes I love the movement and I love fast. And in the same time, as I said, it's like kind of this double feeling because I have seen people do things super quickly. They reach the destination, but then it's not what they expected, right? And then they kind of need to start again. And I don't know, it's not that it's wrong, right? Because it's still experience. But I sometimes wonder, like, how they would feel if they would just slow down and did it like kind of in more alignment at the first time. But then I think maybe actually it's a good thing that they did it in that way. They kind of burned out. They kind of understood that it's not a, because then they actually can appreciate that second part a little bit more. So
Mm.
it's kind of like, I think again, it's no right or wrong. We can, achieve goals quickly and all that. But I do think when we take a little bit time, and it's even like with as simple things as, even branding, right? Visual identity. When I create something for clients, I usually encourage them to not answer straight away. I encourage them to, okay, now you saw as a first impression, write down. So I send them instructions beforehand. So I will send you now the files first. How the first impressions, write down everything, like emotions that comes up, how you feel, like good or bad, like everything, because we need to have that, what's coming up.
Mm.
Then I want that you also know, like kind of measure, like are you in a good mood or you're in a bad mood or somewhere, like rate your mood, rate your stress levels, all of those things. Then I send them, okay, you will do that for 3 days. The next day, you actually will do some meditation and then you will look again to those files. So you are like, and then because the task is for them to look at their expression, visual identity in more of different angles and aspects. So when they are happy, when they are stressed, when they are a little bit moody, when they are a little bit, in different aspects, because that's the thing, like for my clients, because mostly they're personal brands, right? There's companies as well, which is a little bit different process. It's not that, because companies are not so attached with emotions. With
Yeah.
personal brands, we are so into our brands. And if it just doesn't feel right, then we can't sell, right? And then we can't go to the next level. And then we need to cancel maybe some event because, oh, I just don't feel it, right? Which is very interesting. So that's why for personal brands, this process is very important
Mm.
to kind of have from these different aspects. Because a lot of times after those 3 days, they actually are like, huh, at first I loved it, then I hated it, and now I'm okay with it, right? So, or we just need to tweak this one thing, right? And that is kind of giving them this opportunity to fall in love with their brand again and again, because they are like, okay, yes, I'm aligned. It feels great, right? And I do work with more like energetics infused everything, right? So I feel in with my clients. I sometimes do meditation to see my screenshots in my brain to just like, okay, this is how it should look, right? And this is how it will go. And a lot of times it is like, they're like, oh my gosh, yes, you embody the perfect way how I want to come across. And this is amazing, right? But I still ask them, okay, sleep on it.
Yeah.
I want you to see in the morning, at least in the morning. If we are not doing 3 days, at least in the morning, right? And if it feels the same way or even better, great. We can go a green light, right? But just rushing. So that's why, and I see the difference when somebody, you know, is rushing things, right? And then somebody who is taking their time. In different aspects, again, there can be pluses and minuses in both. But yeah, the transformation usually is deeper when we take a little time, when we allow our body to speak rather than the mind. And sometimes the body needs a little bit more time to truly feel what's going on and how do we actually feel.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And it's something that I've experienced in the last sort of year or so of finding finding my way of stepping into a higher frequency of being. And it's an ongoing process, and I'm very much in alignment with what you're saying because, some days I'll just have to go, no, I'm absolutely not going to be present, visible today because I'm going to drop in and drop deeply and unplug, from the technology and being present and go and be really present.
mm,
Because and really deeply connect with the land and then and bring the wisdom and the energy and the frequency up and whatever else in my personal practice that I do to recalibrate and embody the next level, and like you were saying, going up those levels, you're graduating.
mm,
And I feel that this is our soul graduation process, because we've never had this opportunity before to communicate the way we do, to link in with other people and create impact and up level each other. And it's an exciting time, really. I really feel so. I would love to hear what have you got coming up next that people can maybe, if they feel drawn to, dive into some more deep work with you. What have you got going on,
mm.
Guna?
Oh, this is a very amazing question, because when you know what's going on, it's like, oh my gosh, which of those hundred and thousands of things
I know.
to share? Because there's so many things usually. But I think like in overall, right, if somebody is listening in between things, I love connection. So if anybody wants to just send a message and keep that conversation going, I'm like always open. I do have a podcast as well, so that's something that can be discovered. But yeah, I think like right now the biggest kind of one is I'm diving deeper into those sessions where we use human design to diagnose kind of like what's going on, and then
Oh,
seeing where we want to go, and then using different tools to actually achieve it. And I'm right now, as we speak, just pretty much finishing my certification in one methodology that is in a method that helps to do it so much more quicker, more rapidly, but in a way that it's like not in the way how we were like, okay, well, we need the time, right, for the transformation and things. It's more of like, okay, we have an issue here, which is not even related with what you want to achieve. So we got to fix it really quickly so you can stop telling the old stories or hanging around the old experiences or even traumas, and we can just move forward and you can fully express yourself and then do the impact. So actually starting to live, right? Because this at some point I realized that with I do struggle with some chronic health conditions and things, and just a lot of times there has been parts when I'm like telling the old story to myself, right? Again and again. And then I feel like, no, it's like just stop it, right? Like it's enough like of the suffering or enough of like pondering about like things that can't be changed. So what we can do now to actually just stop healing almost, but start living, because we can always heal more. We can always go deeper. We can always do this. But I do think it's so important for people to realize that, okay, when that enough is enough, kind of, and when we just switch the switch and start truly living. And I feel that is right now something that in this moment I work the most, and that's the kind of new wave that's coming up. But as I said, I'm manifester, so I change things. I got to change things. I need to change things. So it's like, in waves. We have in a mix of services and one-on-ones and group experiences. But yeah, like if I think the local events and retreats will be something that's also for the next year. It's like a theme. So if anyone wants to come to Portugal and experience beautiful nature and all of this kind of magic that we talked about today, in real physical connection, then that will be also something that can be discovered and embraced.
Oh, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Because, there's a lot of people out there that are also seeking that real face-to-face connection where we can hug each other and give those amazing, epic physical presences together. And,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people that are perhaps confused or anxious or unsure, and they don't know how to express themselves in their personal life, let alone, even think about anything more than that. So to hear you speak today is just like really, really amazing. And what would you, what would be a simple thing for those that are listening in that they can really take action on to start tapping into their unique genius?
Hmm. I think like after they have realized that, okay, nobody's coming to save them, they need to do it themselves. I do think that it's so important to find some sort of practice that works for them, right? So how they can disconnect the mind and connect with the body. So whatever it is, maybe it's breath work, maybe it's a walk in the nature, maybe it's shaking or dancing or and anything like body movement related. Maybe it's expressing through art, even if you feel like, oh, I can't draw or do art. Doesn't matter. Take canvases and just like allow it to flow. It's something that you do every single day as a non-negotiable, even if it's just for the 5 minutes, right? Maybe it's a meditation, maybe it's like listening to some frequencies, maybe it is just, by the way, jumping on the little trampoline. So great. It's so good for health and everything, and it just moves your body. It's helps with your lymphatic, all of the things. It clears your mind. So anything, I 100% each person can find something that they can do as a non-negotiable, right? And just actually being present when you do that. Don't, go for a walk and listen podcast. Yes, you can do that, but then find at least 5 or 10 minutes when you just walk. Or if
Yeah.
you sit in a grass, just sit in a grass. Don't try to fill that time with something. And I'm like the person who, yes, I cook and I would watch maybe something or listen something, or I would do this, drive and listen podcast or audiobook. And it's okay. You can do that. And find those 5, 10, 20 minutes a day when you are present in that one thing that you do. Maybe it's writing a book, which you maybe never will finish or publish, but you are writing it, okay? You are present in that moment. Maybe you are journaling. Maybe you are pulling a card, right? Great. Every single day, pull a card from Oracle deck or Tarot deck, and first feel it in. Don't look at the meanings, just feel it. Like, it's all about like connection with your body. Like, feel it in whatever you do. You dance, right? If you breathe, just breathe. If you just sit down and do nothing, then just sit down and do nothing, but like be in that moment. And I like promise you, truly promise you, it will change your life to do something just without expectations, without kind of other distractions and things. Just remove anything else. Maybe it's just like cooking, but then just cook. Like, don't do anything else. Just focus on that and be mindful in those moments. I think that will be the greatest thing that you can do for yourself to get closer to who you are, to your essence. And then you can, yes, add other tools, add your goals, add human design, anything you wish.
Mm.
And the life will change. The things will change, because I think what is very important part to know and understand is that we got to move. We got to move forward. And we got to do something every single day. And even if it's just like a 0.5%, 1%, it's still movement forward. Because as soon as we just stop in our evolution, development, growth, it's actually, we are not still, we are falling back already.
Yeah.
So that's like probably my ending wish, that you are always in the movement.
Absolutely beautiful, Guna. That is sage wisdom that,
Oh.
and it's not difficult to do. It's just taking those moments to be instead of do external stuff and really go internal into that knowingness. Because when we go into that knowingness, we connect so much more to the vastness of
Yes.
all that is in our soul path. And if we're constantly externalizing and doing and not going into that quiet of just who we are in that moment, like we said earlier, we miss out on so much and so much opportunity for soul growth and human experience growth. Um, so what I would really love, I'm gonna drop all your information and how to get in touch with you and everything in the description below. And just give immense gratitude for sharing this space with each other today. And honestly, I'm so excited to see what happens next, because I've learned so much by just hearing you speak today. But not only that, the shifts that have happened since really, and I'm only just starting to really get a depth of understanding about how we can work with these tools. It's expanded everything and it's continuing, like you were saying, the momentum to keep continually moving forwards and exploring everything that comes from that mindful interaction, embodying what we're experiencing. I cannot stress enough how exciting it is to know that what we know now is we're going to know even more in the next hour, the next day, the next
Yes.
week. and become more of who we truly are. So,
Yeah.
Guna, my love, thank you so much. And I'd love to say to our listeners, if you've loved this episode, connect with Guna. Go and explore more with her if this feels really resonant with you. Maybe subscribe to this channel. It's a new channel, I'm showing up and being brave and, really aligning with, who I'm becoming. And if you know of anyone that really would love to hear this message today, share this video with them and know that everything you do creates a ripple in the reality of others as well as yourselves. And the way you support others makes all the difference. So, it's been magical. um, to be
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much
well.
for
You're welcome, my love. So check out the details below and let's spread more gorgeousness together with Guna.